Okay, back to our video. I can factor a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1. And I tried to read that 62 with it and it didn't make sense. Alright, so we know how to factor out a GCF, which means the biggest number they have in common and the smallest what? When they have like bases. The word starts with an E. Exponent. Take a point. Sweet baby Jesus, it's only been 2 days. So today what we're going to do is we're going to factor trinomials in the form of, now we have two forms. We have one where it's x squared, either plus or minus bx plus c, and then one where it's minus c. And we use the star method. In the star method, every single time you draw a star. Isn't it magic? And then you're going to fill your star in with whatever your trinomial is. Now your base star is whatever C is, it always goes on top. So if C was 4, you'd put it up top. If C was 5, you'd put it up top. If C was 7, you'd put it up top. You fill in this part with C. You fill in down here with B. Jared. Just trying to help you out, babe. And then this is X, 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 X. Which just is these two x's right here. So you're just taking your x squared and splitting it up. And then in the bottom, you find your factors. Now the factors are the two numbers that multiply to give you C, but add to give you B. And what do you think is going to be a big a big challenge whenever we're doing this? Other than you need to know your multiplication tables. What could affect our answer? If it's adding or subtracting, which means we need to watch out for what? The signs. Good. Take a point. All right, so we're going to start first where we have a positive C. So everybody open this side. Now, the first thing you do every single time is you draw and fill in your star. Ooh, I lost my breath for a second. And we're going to do a sample problem up here to get... yeah. Alright, so we're going to start with an easy peasy of x squared plus 4x plus 3. Alright, so it says draw and fill in your star. Now, in the top of the star, we said every time we write C. Well, what's our C for this trinomial? 3. In the bottom, we put our B. What's our B?
4.
Shouldn't you be studying? And then in the top left and right, we write x and x. Now, what we're trying to do when we factor a trinomial is we're trying to go back to our base form of 2 parentheses. So when you have x squared plus bx plus c, and don't write this, just watch, what you're trying to do is we're trying to go back to this where we use FOIL and we got our trinomials. So your end answer is always going to have 2 parentheses like this. So that's what we're trying to get to. When we were doing GCF, we had 1 parenthesis, right? When we did 4 terms, when we did our grouping, we had 2 parentheses like this. But this is 3 terms with no GCF And we're trying to go back to our 2 parentheses. Now, what 2 numbers multiply to give us 3? 3 and 1. And what's 3 plus 1? 4. So did those 2 numbers multiply to give us 3 and add to give us 4? Dun, 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 dun. It's magic. Then you write it as x plus 3 and x plus 1, and you're done. So whatever's on top goes out front. Whatever's on bottom goes in the back. Whatever's on top goes out front. Whatever's in the bottom goes in the back. Now, your signs matter, which is what this part says. So it says draw and fill in your star. We did that. Since C is, what is C here this time? Positive. Since C is positive. Great job, team. Take a point. Both factors match B. Which means that if B is positive like here, both of these have to be positive. If B is negative, both of these have to be what? Ta-da! Find 2 numbers that... Blair. Find 2 numbers that multiply to give you, I left out C, ham sandwich. And add to give you B. This is the first foldable that I've made completely on my own like this. Thanks, I'm really proud of it. They'll get better, don't worry. I won't leave stuff out. And I can only blame myself this time, not other people. Alright, so the first thing we do is we draw and fill in our star. We look at C. If C is positive, both factors have to match B. We need 2 numbers that multiply to give you C and add to give you B, and then you factor and write it in parentheses. So what if I said x squared minus super sorry. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? What do I want to do? 9x plus 8. Alright, someone walk me through the steps. What's the first thing that I need to do? Okay, so let's draw our star. Every single time. What goes at the top of our star? 8. Is 8 positive or negative? Positive. So both of our factors are going to match what?
Each other.
They do match each other, but they also match the sign of B. And what is our B? Negative 9. Our signs are very, very important. And what goes in the top left and right? And? Ta-da! Alright, let's think of numbers that multiply to give us 8. 2 and 4 and 8 and 1. And they both have to be negative. But what's negative 2 plus negative 4? And what do we need? We're all just kind of muttering. What do we need? Okay, thank you. And so what's negative 8 plus negative 1? Ta-da! That's our winner chicken dinner. Oh no, he's just talking back there. You're fine. You're just loud sometimes. Alright, and am I done or do I need to write it in parentheses? And how would I write that in parentheses? Look at us go. Put them right beside each other. Ta-da, you're done. Do you? Awesome. You want to practice one more together just to be safe? Okay. Let's do number 1 at the top together, and then I'm going to let you do those 3 on your own. Alright, so it's x squared plus 11x plus 24. It doesn't have a GCF, so we're going to use the star method. So always check for the GCF first. What goes in the top of my star? The bottom? And top left and right? Awesome. Yes.
What do we do because it has 11 has an x with it? Does it just like go away?
We will talk about that in just a second. That is a great question. Alright, so keep that thought in mind. She asked what happens to this x right here, and we're going to figure that out. What two numbers multiply to give us 24 and add to give us 11? 6 and 4 multiplies to give us 24, but what's 6 plus 4? 10, so that doesn't work. 8 and 3. What's 8 plus 3? Look at you go. Take a point. Alright, and how do I write my parentheses? Bless you. Now, the question was, what happened to that 11x? Well, what method can we use to simplify this? If I wanted you to multiply and simplify, what would I use? FOIL. Okay, so let's check our answer and make sure we did it right. X times x is, excuse me, x squared. And then we do outside. X times 3 is, 8 times x is, and 8 times 3 is. Alright, do we have any like terms to combine? What's 3x plus 8x? Is that the same thing that we started with? Dun da da da, we did it right. It is. Alright, try 2, 3, and 4 without me. Alright, I got x plus 6, x plus 2, x minus 7, x minus 6, x minus 5, x minus 2. Did we all get them right?
Yes.
Great job. Take a point. Alright, are you ready to find out what happens when C is negative?
No.
It's easy. Everything changes. I'm just kidding. Alright, so this time you really have to watch your sign, because before they just had to match B. But this time you have to have two different signs. So you need two different signs. Alright, so you still draw and fill in your star. Since C is negative, the big factor, remember you have two numbers. One is a bigger number than the other, is what that means, just in case we're confused. I don't know, sometimes y'all are like really on it, and then sometimes you scare me and wonder how you survive. So, the big factor matches B. We're still finding two numbers that multiply. Come on, Blair. I'm super sorry that I left out C here. And add to give you B. And I'm going to pull an example from my paper here because I can. Did I make one? Alright, so x squared minus 4x minus 5. So C is negative, we need two different signs, because a negative times a negative is a positive, and we need a negative 5. Alright, let's draw our star. We have negative 5 up top, negative 4 on bottom, and x and x. Now, what two numbers multiply to give us 5? 5 and 1. But one of them has to be negative and one of them has to be positive. The way you know is that you're trying to get negative 4. So if our 1 was negative, it would be 5 plus negative 1, and that would give us what?
4.
We don't need that. So which one's going to be negative? So it's negative 5 and positive 1. So you're finding two numbers that multiply to give you negative 5 and add to give you negative 4. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, so it works. And you write it as x minus 5, x plus 1. You want to do one more, or are you ready to try it on your own? One more? All right. X squared plus if I did that wouldn't work. Four x minus 12. So there. All right, let's draw our star. Ham sandwich. All right, negative 12, 4, x, and x. Now, what two numbers multiply to give us 12? 3 and 4. But neither of those are going to work as positive or negative, are they? Because we're trying to get positive 4. What else works? 12 and 1, and 6 and 2. So, which of those is going to be our positive and which one's going to be our negative? Why would 6 be positive? Yes. Whose phone is what? I don't know. You could walk and see. Alright, and how do I write my parentheses? And please notice how my parentheses are right beside each other. Please write yours like that. Alright, can you try 5, 6, 7, 8 without me? You'll try? Good. Persevere in the face of danger. That came out a little harsher than I meant. Alright, x plus 5, x minus 2. That should be a 3. It said 3 right there. I got excited. Super sorry. Alright, x plus 8, x minus 4. X minus 4, x plus 3. And x minus 9, x plus 2. How'd we do? Alright, awesome. Give your team a point. Now your homework tonight is to cut and glue again. Don't cut the yellow. Which sheet do you cut? The blue.